My name is Alyssa Monroe, I'm 23, and up until a few months ago, I thought I understood what friendship meant. I thought I had people around me who genuinely wanted the best for me. Especially Tessa Blake, my best friend since sophomore year of high school. We met in chemistry class, and she made me laugh on a day I was one breath away from a panic attack. From then on, we were inseparable. We studied together, partied together, cried through heartbreaks, and shared dreams over midnight pizza. I trusted her with everything, my insecurities, my ambitions, even my bank password once when I thought I lost my phone. Stupid, I know. We both moved to New York City after college, her to pursue marketing, me to start my own online art business. We ended up renting a small but cozy apartment together in Brooklyn. It felt like a dream. We'd made it out of our boring town, and we were finally adults living the city life. Brunches, rooftop parties, and loud ambitions. But lately, something had started to feel off. It wasn't anything big at first. Just little things. Like the way Tessa's smile didn't quite reach her eyes anymore when I talked about a new client. Or how she'd ask questions about my relationship with Ryan, my boyfriend of 8 months, but they always felt laced with something sharp. One night, we were getting ready for our friend Chloe's birthday. I had bought this emerald green dress that I'd been eyeing for weeks. I slipped it on, looked in the mirror, and smiled. It hugged my curves just right. But Tessa looked at me and said, "Oh, bold choice. I mean, if you're trying to pull the attention away from Chloe, I guess it works." I blinked. "What?" She laughed quickly. "I'm kidding. Relax, you look great." So sensitive lately, geez. It stung. Not just the comment, but the way she said it. Like I was the one being difficult. I shook it off. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe I was reading into things too much. After all, living together can get tense. We both worked long hours, and I hadn't exactly been the easiest roommate lately either. I'd been stressed about a major brand partnership that was taking forever to finalize. Still, something inside me tightened. At Chloe's party, Tessa seemed unusually glued to her phone. She'd smile, whisper things to Chloe, and they'd both laugh, looking directly at me once or twice. I tried not to let it get to me. I laughed, danced, even stayed longer than I normally would. But then, when I went to the bathroom to touch up my lipstick, I found my phone buzzing on the sink counter where I'd left it. A text had come through from an unknown number. It simply said, "You really think they all like you?" I stared at it. My heart started pounding. I looked around. No one had touched my phone. Had it been there the whole time? Was it someone from the party? I deleted the message and walked back out like nothing had happened, but the unease clung to me the rest of the night. The next morning, I mentioned the text to Tessa while we were making coffee. She didn't even look up. "Creeps are everywhere. Just block the number," she mumbled. No sympathy. No curiosity. Just dismissal. That day, while scrolling through Instagram, I noticed that Chloe had posted a story from the party. In the background, Tessa was whispering to someone and pointing at me. I turned the volume up. You could barely hear it over the music, but I caught one line clear as day. "She thinks she's better than all of us now." I dropped my phone. It hit the hardwood floor with a loud crack that echoed in the quiet apartment. I stood there frozen, breath stuck in my throat. What was happening? Tessa had always been sarcastic, blunt. But this? Was it just a joke or something more? I tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. I'd been under pressure lately. Maybe I was reading too much into things. Maybe Tessa was just venting. Everyone vents, right? But the seed was planted. From that moment on, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong between us. A few nights later, I overheard Tessa on the phone in the hallway. She didn't know I was home. I'd come back early from a client meeting. I paused by the coat closet, barely breathing. "She's so full of herself now. Like, good for you, you sell your little paintings online. Doesn't make you some queen." My chest tightened. "Yeah, I know. Just wait. She's going to crash. Hard. And I won't be there to catch her." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I quietly stepped back, went into my room, and locked the door. Something was happening, and I didn't understand it. But I was going to find out. I didn't sleep much that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory of Tessa I could summon, every laugh, every secret, every hug that now felt rehearsed. My chest was tight, with something I couldn't name yet. It wasn't just anger. It was betrayal spiked with confusion. Why would she say that about me? What had I done? The next morning, she was in the kitchen as usual, drinking her iced coffee, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. I walked in, my eyes on her like a hawk's, but she didn't even look up. "You want eggs or something?" she asked flatly. I mumbled no thanks, and grabbed a glass of water, my eyes searching her face for even a flicker of guilt. But she looked normal. Too normal. Like she hadn't just trashed me on the phone to whoever she'd been speaking with. That whole day, I couldn't focus. During a client Zoom meeting, I found myself staring at the screen, zoning out mid-sentence. I kept thinking about the way Tessa had looked at me lately, like I was a burden wearing a crown I didn't deserve. I decided I needed clarity. Not confrontation yet, but proof. Real, undeniable evidence. Otherwise, maybe I was being paranoid. That night, when she stepped out to grab drinks with a few coworkers, I walked into her room. My heart was pounding in my chest like a war drum. I'd never gone through someone's stuff before, and it felt wrong, but something told me I had to. I couldn't go on with just guesses and half-heard whispers. I didn't find much at first, just the usual chaos of her makeup bag, open fashion magazines, and empty iced coffee cups. But then I noticed a spiral notebook jammed between her mattress and the bed frame. It was worn at the edges. I hesitated, then pulled it out. It was her journal. And I know I shouldn't have read it, but I did. The first few pages were harmless, quotes, to-do lists, wishful thinking. But then, I turned to a section titled, Operation Reset. My stomach dropped. There, written in bullet points, were notes about me. Literal notes. Alyssa's brand launch equals June 2nd. Delay it. Ask Chloe to post about her own art. Undermine Alyssa subtly. Get closer to Ryan. Test how loyal he is. Post hints that she's copying others. Let followers notice themselves. What the actual hell? She had plans to ruin me. I dropped the notebook like it burned and stood there shaking. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't jealousy. This was calculated. I ran out of her room and locked myself in mine, trying to breathe. I couldn't cry, not yet. My anger was too thick to let anything else through. Around midnight, she came home. I heard the door slam, her heels clicking across the hardwood, and then her laughter echoing from the hallway. Like nothing had happened. I couldn't look at her the same. The next morning, when she offered to make pancakes, I declined. Again. She noticed. "Okay, are we good?" she asked, tilting her head. "You've been weird lately." I forced a smile. "All good. Just stressed." "Uh-huh," she said, studying me for a beat too long. "Well, if there's anything you need to get off your chest, I'm here." Her voice sounded so syrupy sweet, I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded and walked away. The next few days were a twisted game of pretending. I watched her closer than ever. I saw how she planted seeds in group conversations. "Oh yeah, Alyssa's brand is doing well, though she's kind of overworking herself, poor thing." Or, not everyone's into minimalist art, it's sort of a niche taste. Everyone thought she was being caring, supportive. But I saw it now. Every word was a dagger coated in honey. One night, I left my phone on the kitchen counter, recording. She thought I was asleep. She walked in, called someone, and left. Yeah, no. She has no idea. She's like, painfully trusting. It's almost sad. There was a pause. Then she added, "I'll send you the file tomorrow." It's all the client contacts from her brand list. She doesn't even password protect that stuff. Amateur. My mouth went dry. I ended the recording and stared at the screen.
She was stealing from me.
She was trying to destroy everything I had built, my business, my relationships, my peace. And yet every day she smiled at me like I was her sister. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay there in bed, my eyes wide open in the darkness, listening to the wind rattle the window pane, wondering how long this had been going on. I knew I couldn't just confront her. Not yet. Not until I had everything. Because if she was smart enough to sabotage me in secret, she was smart enough to twist a confrontation into my fault. She was a manipulator, a liar, a thief in friend's clothing. And I was done being her victim. 3 days later, I found what I'd been looking for. I had made a backup of my business files and changed all my passwords. I told Tessa I had a digital audit coming up and had to secure everything, just in case. She nodded, pretending to understand, but I saw her eyes twitch. I was beginning to enjoy watching her mask slip. Then I did something I never thought I would. I emailed myself a fake client lead list, a decoy. I filled it with dummy emails, names that didn't exist, and a few real-sounding brands. I left the document titled Final_Alyssa Client List 2025 XLSX in my unlocked folder on the desktop. Obvious. Too obvious. I waited. 2 nights later, around 2 a.m., I heard the soft click of my bedroom door creaking open. I had left it slightly ajar. I had wanted her to think I was asleep. My heart thundered in my chest, but I kept my eyes closed and my breathing even. Footsteps. Slow, careful ones. Then the sound of my laptop opening in the living room, the keys being tapped. I waited 5 minutes, then quietly slipped out of bed and down the hall, phone in hand, recording everything from behind the kitchen wall. There she was, Tessa, sitting at my laptop in my files with her phone aimed at the screen. She was taking pictures, page after page. She looked calm, focused, not like someone who thought they were doing anything wrong. Then, I heard her whisper, "Stupid girl. You don't even know what's coming."
Click. Click.
Another photo, and then something cracked inside me. I stepped forward.
Tessa.
She jumped, slamming the laptop shut, nearly knocking over her phone. "Alyssa," she gasped, trying to laugh. "Oh my God, you scared me. What are you doing?" She blinked, standing up too quickly. Your screen was open, and I thought maybe you needed help organizing it. I was gonna clean your folders for you." I held up my phone. "You've been recording client data off my laptop at 2 in the morning." Her face went blank. "Don't lie to me," I said quietly. "Not anymore." Tessa's mouth twitched. She slowly sat back down, crossing her arms. "Okay," she said. "So what?" I blinked. "Excuse me?" She smiled. Not sheepishly. Not apologetically.
Smugly.
"So what, Alyssa? It's not like I sold anything yet. You left it open. You don't think other people talk about you behind your back? Everyone sees the fake perfection act. You prance around like you're better than us. You think just because you have a little following and some Etsy clients, you're above it all." Her voice was sharp now. Cold. Like a wire pulled tight and ready to snap. "I was your friend," I said, barely above a whisper. "No," she hissed. "I was your fan. You made me feel small. Always so sweet, so innocent, while people handed you everything. I had to fight for what I have. You just breathe, and it all falls into place." I felt like the ground was opening beneath me. "You were my best friend," I said. "I trusted you."
She scoffed.
"You were naive and weak." Silence stretched between us. I thought I'd cry,
Scream.
maybe even throw something. But instead I laughed. And that startled her more than anything else. "I already sent that list to a burner email," she said quickly. "You can't undo it now." "I know," I said. "I wanted you to." She frowned. "What?" "That list is fake. Those clients? They don't exist. It's all a trap. I wanted proof you were stealing from me. That you were the one sending those anonymous texts, turning people against me, trying to sabotage my launch. And now I have it." I lifted my phone. Audio. Video. Everything. Her face changed. First confusion. Then panic. Then fury. "You set me up?" she whispered.
No, Tessa.
"You did that yourself." She lunged forward as if to grab the phone. I stepped back. "Don't," I warned. "You think anyone's going to believe your side?" she spat. "You're too nice, too soft. People will think you faked this out of jealousy." I tilted my head. Then why are you shaking? She looked down at her hands. They were trembling. She stormed into her room and slammed the door so hard it rattled the walls. I sat on the couch, still shaking, the reality of everything sinking into my skin like frostbite. She had wanted to ruin me, and now she knew I knew. The apartment felt colder than it ever had. I emailed the video and audio files to myself. Then I sent them to my lawyer friend, Mia, and to Chloe, too, because she needed to see the kind of person she'd been laughing with at that party. By morning, Tessa was gone. She'd packed a bag, left her key on the counter, and vanished. But something told me she wasn't finished yet. And I wasn't safe. Not really. Because I knew what she was capable of now. I thought her leaving would bring peace. That maybe she'd feel ashamed or defeated and just disappear for good. I was wrong. The next morning, my business Instagram had 3 new DMs. One from a former client, one from a mutual we both knew, and one anonymous. They all said the same thing. Hey, is it true you copy other artists and lie about your sales? I heard you're buying followers. That's not true, right? You really faked a whole client list just to frame someone? I sat on my bed, phone in hand, heart racing. She was still coming for me, even after being caught red-handed. I clicked on her profile. It was gone, deleted, or maybe blocked. But the damage had begun. By noon, someone had posted a thread on X, "Be careful who you buy from. Not everyone's as honest as they seem," with a blurred screenshot that resembled my art pieces. I knew that tone. It had Tessa written all over it. And that's when I snapped. I called her. She answered on the 3rd ring. What? Why are you still doing this? Her voice was flat. Doing what? You know what? Spreading lies. Harassing my clients. Trying to ruin my reputation. You already ruined it yourself, Alyssa, she said, cool as ice. You framed me. That fake file? That was entrapment. You stole from me. I took back what I helped build. I couldn't breathe for a second. You were never a part of my business, I said slowly. You were just the friend who sat nearby. You never lifted a finger. You just watched. You envied. And you plotted. There was a long pause. Then she laughed. God, you really do think you're a saint. Do you even realize how fake you are? You smile and pretend to be everyone's best friend, but you don't see people. Not really. No, I snapped. I saw you. I saw a broken girl trying to act whole. I saw someone who needed love and loyalty. And I gave it. I gave everything. She went silent again. Then, you're right. I wasn't expecting that. You did give everything, she continued. And that's why it was so easy to take from you. Because you never expected the people closest to you to bite back. My hands were trembling. You lied to me for months. You pretended. You manipulated everyone. Do you realize how messed up that is? Her voice suddenly cracked. Just slightly. I never meant for it to go this far. I froze. There it was. Truth. Underneath the venom, the games, the ego, there was still a girl who had once held my hand during panic attacks. A girl who once cried in my arms after her breakup. But I couldn't afford to care anymore. You made your choices, I said quietly. Now I'm making mine. What does that mean? It means I sent everything to legal. I'm pressing charges. You stole proprietary business data and tried to sabotage me. There are digital footprints, screenshots, audio, video. You left your fingerprints all over the crime scene. You wouldn't dare. I already did. Silence. Then she broke. I heard it in her breathing. The sharp inhale, the quiet choked sound, the sob she tried to swallow. You don't understand, she whispered. This was all I had. I don't have parents to fall back on. I don't have rich clients lining up. I just wanted a piece of the light you live in. For a moment, I felt it again, that pull, that familiar empathy, that voice that said, maybe she just needed help. Maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe she's hurting. But no. I offered you a place in my light, I said. And you tried to burn it down. She didn't respond. I hung up, and I cried. Not because I regretted anything, but because grieving a friendship is a lot like grieving a death. You walk around with this weight in your chest, a ghost beside you in every room. Every memory stings. Every photo becomes a question. Was she already lying here? Was she already planning it then? The next day, I made a public post. No names. No blame. Just the truth. Sometimes the person closest to you isn't clapping when you rise. They're waiting for the fall. I was betrayed by someone I loved like a sister. She tried to ruin my business, my reputation, and my peace. But I'm still here. And I'm done being silent. The support poured in. Dozens of messages. Clients saying they believed in me. Friends apologizing for not seeing it. Even Chloe messaged. I feel so dumb. She talked trash about you constantly.
I'm so sorry.
I'm glad you're okay. But I wasn't okay. Not really. Because I knew something she didn't. Tessa hadn't played her final card yet. And the worst part? Neither had I. Weeks passed. The storm Tessa had stirred began to die down, but I didn't relax. Not fully. Not even when my followers returned, when my orders picked up again, or when people started publicly defending me in forums and threads. There was still a shadow hovering over everything, like something unfinished, unsaid, unwatched. I kept my circles small. I changed passwords. Set up two-step verification. I even hired a tech guy to scrub my online presence for vulnerabilities. I moved out of the apartment. Too many memories. Too much energy soaked into those walls. But no matter how far I ran, I couldn't outrun what she left behind. One day, I received an unmarked envelope in my new mailbox. No return address. Just my name in shaky cursive on the front. Inside was a USB. And a note. You think you've won. But there's more you don't know. Play the video. Then decide if you still feel safe. My blood ran cold. I rushed back inside, locked every door, drew every blind. My hands trembled as I inserted the USB into my laptop. The folder held one file. Confession MP4. I clicked. Tessa's face appeared, lit only by the bluish glow of a laptop screen. She looked tired. Not broken, just drained, like someone hollowed out by their own choices. She spoke into the camera like she was talking to me directly. Alyssa, if you're watching this, then I guess you found what I left you. I figured you'd survive what I tried to do. You're tougher than you look. You always were. But here's the thing. What I did to you, that wasn't just about business. It wasn't just jealousy or anger. It was protection. She looked away, inhaling sharply. There's someone else. Someone who told me what to do. Who showed me how easy it would be to pull you down. He hated you long before I ever did. Said you humiliated him in college, that you made him feel invisible. My breath caught in my throat. College. The only guy I remembered having real conflict with was
Caleb.
my ex. The one I had dated briefly sophomore year. The one who spread rumors after I broke up with him for being emotionally manipulative. Tessa continued. I met him at a networking event last year. He told me things about you, things only someone close could know. I thought he was lying. But then he offered to help me build my business if I agreed to help him take you down. At first I said no. But after enough time, I started to believe him. And hate you. She looked into the camera again. Her eyes were glassy now. But he wasn't helping me.
He was using me.
Just like he used you. Just like he's probably using someone else now. I'm sorry, Alyssa.
I really am.
You were never the enemy. I was. The video ended there. No signature. No final apology. Just silence. I sat frozen for a long time, the screen dimming into black. Then I felt it again. That sensation I couldn't quite name. Not fear. Not anger. A chill. A realization that while I'd been fighting a ghost from my living room, something bigger had been orchestrating the destruction from the shadows. I went digging. Hard. Pulled up old emails. Found traces of Caleb's aliases on forums where people were bad-mouthing my business. Fake reviews. Doxing threads. He was behind it. All of it. Tessa had just been the puppet. He was the puppeteer. I contacted a lawyer. I gathered every trace of proof. And I built a case. But even as legal proceedings began and cease and desists were filed, I knew something deeper had changed in me. I didn't feel like the same person anymore. I was sharper now, wiser, a little colder, a little quieter. The girl who used to believe the best in everyone was gone. One night, about 2 months after everything broke, I returned home from a small business event. I kicked off my shoes, dropped my bag by the door, and poured myself a glass of wine. That's when I saw it. A small black box sitting on my kitchen counter. I hadn't put it there. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. No broken locks. Just that box. Inside was a single photo.
Of me.
Taken through my window. From the outside. I was on the couch, back turned, working on my laptop. Under the photo, a note. You may have survived her, but I'm still here. No name. No signature. But I didn't need one. It was him.
Caleb.
And in that moment, everything shifted. This wasn't about business. Or betrayal. Or even revenge. This was war. I locked the doors. Checked the windows. Turned off the lights. Then I picked up my phone. And called someone I hadn't spoken to in years. A woman named Rowan. Ex-military, turned digital forensic investigator. A friend of a friend. A specialist in tracking ghosts.
When she picked up, I didn't waste time. He's watching me, I said.
And I'm done playing defense. Rowan was quiet. Then she said, I'm on my way. As I hung up, I looked around the room. Everything looked the same. The candles, the photos, the quiet hum of the refrigerator. But I knew better. The war had begun the moment I trusted the wrong person. And now, they'll regret ever thinking I was easy to break.